Hello, this is Wednesday, October 24th, 2018. It is number 1 of the Joe Lotto daily update to Techstars to let you all know the progress that we're making between now and the time that you all decide who you're going to choose for the 2019 class of Techstars. So anyway, first of all, I want to thank both of you, Clement and Aaron, for your great leadership. And I have to be honest that before I knew Techstars very well, but from afar, I have a lot of clients and business partners because I do work with banks, fintech companies, fintech authors a lot of times as a publicist, business developer, and marketing person. And, you know, Techstars is the creme de la creme. It's the it's the most coveted, most admired of the accelerators, even bigger than Y Combinator. And so, you know, I knew Ty Danko, you know, vaguely and briefly. And like I said, I knew a number of companies, including John Syracuse's, I think it was called Cant AI, was one of your choices. Anyway, so from far away, you were very intimidating and even seemed to be kind of aloof. But up close during Startup Week, when I came to your event, I really saw how accessible and warm you both are. And yesterday you confirmed that when you talked about, you know, what drives you is your ability to give a voice and to get attention on behalf of entrepreneurs who otherwise might be overlooked. And so you really are motivated by a desire to help entrepreneurs and to make a difference for them in the world. And I just want to thank you and say it's very much appreciated. And I am a polyglot. I speak 4.5 languages. One of my languages used to be French, but it is my half language. And so, Clement, je parlais français dans le passé, mais maintenant, mon français est très abominable. So that's it. As you can see, my French is very weak. But I have lived and worked around the world. I lived and worked for the government of Japan after college from 1987 to 1990. I also worked for the private sector in Japan before I left there. Later, I married a Brazilian of Japanese descent, and I've lived around the world in Mexico. I opened and ran sales and marketing for the Brazilian branch of a competitive intelligence company called Internet Securities. And I built international sales channels around the world for different technology and startup companies. Now I have decided to put my hat in the ring with Joe Lotto. And that's what I'd like to talk to you about tonight in terms of traction and progress. I just wanted to talk about how I met Clinton. And although I just met him in July, how I'm very confident that we have a very strong partnership that is very productive and is going to yield big results in the future. So anyway, taking you back to July, I'm a judge at the Startupalooza, or I was. I've now switched to E for All and A para Todos, and I also, there's another startup competition that I am a judge for, and I just am having a brain freeze right now. But I was a mentor for Latinx recently as well. So anyway, I was a judge in July at MIT for Startupalooza, and to be honest with you, Clinton Keynes and his presentation of Joe Lotto was maybe the worst that I'd ever seen. He seemed to me to be somehow buying lottery tickets and then giving away free lottery tickets, and he was going to have some people pay. I just honestly didn't understand his model or why he would be doing something with the lottery, which to me was sketchy and was a poor tax. So anyway, my harsh criticism notwithstanding, he came up to me right after the competition was over and thanked me for my feedback. And then Clinton asked me if I would look at his pitch and give him more feedback if he sent it to me vis-a-vis LinkedIn. So anyway, no sooner did I get home than I had a message from him. And I've always been impressed by his follow-through, his follow-up, his communicativeness, and he's very reliable. So anyway, I took a few days before I did look at his presentation. I still thought it was really, I didn't understand it. And however, Clinton offered to pay me to then work with him to perfect his presentation and to actually help him practice to present it at future competitions. So somehow I started out as a, a supporter. He actually even paid me upfront for my work before I did the work. So he's very serious about, he takes his partners very seriously. Let's put it that way. So I started working on this, and little by little, he explained to me the brilliance of his business model, the reason why he's doing this, and I have gone from being a fan to being all in with Joe Lotto. So basically, going back to my hesitation at first, the lottery is absolutely a poor tax. The vast majority of people who spend the most money on the lottery are poor people, minorities, and usually other disadvantaged groups. And on the other hand, the people that usually get money from the lotteries are the affluent communities who are better at advocating and lobbying for their own interests. So for example, Chelsea, Massachusetts, one of the poorest cities in Massachusetts, spends almost $2,000 for every man, woman, and child in Chelsea, totaling about $8 million. And I can't remember if that's a month or a year, but anyway, of the $8 million they spend on the lottery, only $6 million comes back into the community. So, I was asking Clinton why he was doing this, and he told me that, he believes that by letting people play the lottery together, he can increase their odds. And then it clicked that, in fact, Clinton knows that no matter how bad the lottery might be, we are not going to convince people who spend $1,000 a month on the lottery to stop doing that. They've been doing it for a long time. And we're also not going to be able to convince Massachusetts to get rid of the lottery now that the lottery is bringing so much money into the state. So instead, what Clinton is doing is he is increasing odds and lowering risk and just making the lottery more fun for everyone by pooling people's lottery tickets together. And so Clinton is also understanding that a customer who doesn't pay often has a higher value than a customer that does pay. So looking at, for example, WhatsApp, which was purchased by Facebook for $19 billion, that sounds like an expensive price, but as you may know, a lot of companies have a customer acquisition price of $900 to even $1,000. And basically, WhatsApp has now 500 million users. And so the fact that they're free is actually very attractive because these are loyal people that feel very grateful to WhatsApp for letting them use the app for free. So they're a very sticky base of people to then upsell other services, which WhatsApp is now doing. So likewise with Joe Lotto, Clinton wants to be the Facebook of online lottery pools and to just, get up to 1 million free users by giving away free lottery tickets. He's buying a certain amount of lottery tickets every month. And then when he gets to 1 million users, he will then launch, or we will launch, our subscription services. So we'll have $20 a month and $100 a month. And if just 1% of the 1 million free users jump onto a subscription, it's going to be like, $1 million a month. So in addition to having a huge foundation database of, 1 million lottery players. So I believe now that it's a very interesting and unique business model. And tomorrow what I would like to do is to let Clinton tell you, or I'll tell you, or together we'll tell you his amazing personal story. And I just wanted to then also tomorrow talk about the growth I've seen in Clinton just since I met him in July. He's the kind of entrepreneur that is so eager to do this right and to be successful that he's willing to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to end with, the 6 habits of high performers, as per Brendan Burchard, who wrote the book High Performance Habits, are 1, clarity. And Clinton's very clear, and I'm very clear about what we're working on. Number 2 is putting energy, or making sure you have energy. So eating well, sleeping well, taking care of yourself. Number 3 of those 6 habits is to then raise necessity. And so we have decided that this do or die. We've burned the ships. We're going to make this work. Number 4 is to then be more productive and to raise your productivity, which we're doing. Number 5 is to get around more influential people, and we are cultivating influencers, groups of people that have huge networks as part of our strategy to get buzz around Joe Lotto. And finally, The last thing is to have courage. And we do have courage. This is not for the faint-hearted. It's a big project, but we're excited about it. And we know, especially if we had Techstars by our side, that we couldn't lose, that we would have to win. So anyway, thank you for letting us do this update, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.